All right. Good morning to the show, everybody. It's House Edge Live with John from ProCraps here on Casino Gaming TV for now. As you know, we're working on moving the show to the other channel, and I'm working through it right now. I actually, if you take a look at it, there's no more ProCraps channel. The ProCraps channel has now been renamed to Casino Gaming Central. As far as the YouTube link goes, the header still shows ProCraps and the logo still shows ProCraps, but the channel itself has been renamed. I'm letting that fester for a little bit while I have new logos created. But yeah, once the logo's done and the felt's done, we're gonna switch everything over and have this show going live on that channel every day, along with a revamped version of the Daily Paycheck. I'm gonna bring the Daily Paycheck back again, and we'll start doing a morning kind of let's make our money and then do a live show kind of a thing. So that's going to all switch over to that channel soon enough. This channel here will start to fade a little bit in favor of doing things like live competitions, like Friday Night Fights, and those kind of things will come back. This channel will be more of that kind of stuff, less of talky kind of stuff, I think. It seems like that's the best solution. Anyway, while we're together, let me remind everybody again, we are doing the drawing for the Craps for the Cure. The last three things that are coming from Craps for the Cure are coming out on Friday. The Felts from Gargoyle, the show, and the clinic. I'm going to show you those things again right now, and just kind of give you a little reminder of what's available and all of that. Let me actually make a quick change. I got to change one thing here before I go to those screens. I got to turn the green screen thing off so that we do this. All right. It looks weird now, but trust me, when I do this, it'll work better. There we go. Otherwise, the green fades through. Anyway, Gargoyle, good friend of ours, has put up 3 felts, potentially. One of 3. So you've got this one from the Aladdin, which is, it's a purplish kind of, I think it's dark blue purple. The Aladdin, again, casino that's no more here. It used to be where Bally's is actually, and Bally's took it over, and then now Horseshoe took that over. So this is, of course, a singular piece of history, as is this one. If I were to buy one, I'd probably buy this one, actually. The Frontier, it's got that gross old green. Like, remember the old green that wasn't really a green? Like, that's what that is. The felt that I've got from my old table, from my current table, actually, that came from the Desert Inn, same color, and it's that like almost like, I can't even describe the material that is. That thing's like 50 years old. Talk about a piece of history. That's a piece of history right there. And of course, he's got the one from the Mirage. That's the crapless Mirage table felt, which is purple and the gray. All these casinos are closed, never coming back. These felts are a piece of history. Gargoyle has decided to donate one of them. So you win the raffle, you win a felt. Your choice. $50. $50 for something that's worth probably $3,000 or $4,000. So that's one raffle item that's open until Friday. CrapsForTheCure.com. Get out there and put a bid in. $50, right? The next one, of course, is heavy. Our good friend Steve Haltom from Access Power Craps has given up again a full attendance to a seminar. It's a weekend seminar, Saturday, Sunday, with him and the crew in Vegas or Biloxi. You pick which one you want to go to. Boom. Fly in yourself, and you have the entire seminar. Again, $50. They charge like, I think $2,000 for these things, right? $50 for a raffle ticket. CrapsForTheCure.com. Hit the raffle link. Go get a ticket. Trust me, it's worth $50. Believe me, worth more than $50. And finally, we've got from Canine Comp has donated 2 tickets to Absinthe, which is an amazing show at Caesars. These tickets are $600 each. Okay. You can get 2 of them for $50, right? Put your name in the raffle. Trust me, you're going to have like a 1 in 10 or 1 in 15 chance of winning 2 tickets to an amazing Vegas show for $50. $600 tickets, right? Again, crapsforthecure.com. Click the raffle button. You'll see the links to these things on that page. Super simple, super cheap. Get yourselves in there. I mean, it's I can't say enough how worth it is for $50 to get these items. It's just amazing that that the folks here have put those items up for us like this, and it speaks to people's generosity. And I think a great way to close out the Craps for the Cure this year would be to have those things all bumped up to a couple of $1,000s in final money raised. Awesome, Jen. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. You've done more than enough for this charity, but it's cool. I bought a ticket for Absinthe because I probably shouldn't even say that out loud. I really want to win that because when we go to Vegas next time, my wife and I need to go to a show. And we're like, we didn't go to one this past year, so I would love to. Anyway, here we go. Let's talk about betting today. We're going to do, I'm going to continue this. I don't know if it's a series that I'm in the middle of, but it's a thought process that I'm going through with bet leveling and that kind of thing. So today's bridge is going to focus on bankroll and an identifying opportunity. And again, we need to make sure that we keep all these things in focus. Again, when you watch my show, it's one thing, right? But you've got other people putting content out there too, some of which is really cool, some of which is really uninformed, some of which is really dangerous, some of which is really conservative. All of it should be viewed and filtered through these things. How does your bankroll match what you're watching? Is your risk appetite or aversion in sync with what you're watching? Can you identify as you're watching when you would leave or when you would lean in? Do you have the discipline to follow the system? Or the discipline to let your feet do the talking and get out of there, right? Do you set goals? Do you have emotions under control? And again, I like to connect it all with mindset and strategy. Like your mindset keeps it all under control. The strategy is kind of how you employ all this stuff together. And again, your pie chart likely and hopefully looks a little different than mine does. But that's the bridge. And I think it brings me into this thing. We've been talking about this now for a few days. I started it last week, and we continued yesterday about winning and losing in chaos, right? Again, everything at every table, whether it's craps or bach or blackjack or roulette or keno or whatever game you play, chaos is where money changes hands, right? These low house edge bets that, and again, I play them too, but when you preach low house edge, you're really, in the long term, there's no chaos with a low house edge bet. 50-50 bets are basically 50-50 bets. They're going to kind of tread water. Because of the house edge, you're going to tread water, but slightly angle yourself down over time. Those bets aren't typically going to feel chaos as the higher edge bets do, where you have much more swings. You always live in some kind of weird variant. That's the thing that I try to preach all the time. You're never really in sync. And when I say that, we can use roulette or craps as the example here. Any game really, but actually, no. Let's talk bach for a minute. Let's talk bach. Bach's a 50-50 game. You got the banker, they get the player. Once in a while, you tie. Whatever. I think the ties come like every 14% or something like that. Something crazy. It's essentially a coin flip. So is blackjack. Blackjack played basic strategy, perfect basic strategy, is basically a coin flip. It's a 50-50 game, right? Does that mean you're going to see a perfect 50 and 50 out of 100? No. You might see 47, 53. That's variance. You're never going to see likely exactly 50-50, right? When you do see 50-50, you're not going to get 50 wins and 50 losses. You're not going to see 50 players and 50 bankers. You're going to go player bank, right? Get some chop. You might have 5 players, 5 banks, 5 players, 5 banks. You're never going to see it perfect. In craps, you might out of 10 million rolls see a perfect set of 36 where it fits the little bubble chart. Exactly 6 sevens and exactly 5 sixes, right? In a sequence of 36. Are you going to see that 7 come every 6 rolls in that 36? Probably not. You're going to see, is it going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? No. You're going to be in chaos. You're going to see the 7s maybe come 3 at a time. And then 33 rolls without a 7. That could happen. That's a variant within perfection. It always works that way. So you find things happening in swings. You might call them trends. Some people call it table tempo or table rhythm, right? Or a streak. I tend to call them streaks because things happen kind of in a weird ordering. The thing of it is, if you're not aggressively betting or conservatively betting in those moments, you're going to have a problem, okay? We talked about this the other day, this idea of a calculation called element of risk, which is the amount of money you lose divided by how much you've bet. was talking to Matt from Dice Data yesterday. He's rolling some of this into his new reporting, right? Which is this real look at like, what is the real risk profile of a strategy based on the average loss and the average win relative to the total amount that you're betting per shooter or per shoe or per whatever, right? He's kind of like layering all that in. That's an interesting metric. And I think that we have to take a look at as we bet things. What happens when? This is the big question. And I don't care if it's the Horseman, if it's the Philly Special, if it's the KKG and Whalen retirement plan, whatever strategy it is, right? How does it work when these things happen? And these are the typical things, I guess, right? It's not the only things, but it's the major things, right? When you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight losses, how does your strategy work in that? How does your bankroll work in that situation, right? That's a thing where your bankroll can be tested and say, well, if my bankroll cannot support 6 consecutive losses, I'm playing the wrong way, right? Let's take the Skill 66 as an example. If you're playing that in craps at $66 inside, if you've got $300 and that's all you've got, can you handle 6 straight losses of $66? Can you handle it? Can your bankroll deal with that, right? Now, of course, you get 1 to 6 consecutive wins. I win. Fantastic. Does it capitalize on that? I've seen strategies where after 6 wins, they barely have a profit. That's a bet leveling problem. Maybe you need to look at how do you handle the wins when you get them. We looked the other day about same betting versus a single unit press and the differences in those rhythms on the longer runs. Long runs happen. Big streaks of reds happen in roulette. Big streaks of evens happen in roulette. Player runs or banker runs in Bach. They happen all the time. Craps the same thing. How many times have you, Monday, was it Monday? Yeah, it was Monday when I had 5 or 4 5s consecutive rolls, 4 5s back to back to back to back. How does your strategy deal with that? Right? Those are important things. How about losing 2, winning 1? Lose 2, win 1. It's an unbalanced chop. Or lose 1, win 2. Another unbalanced chop, right? Again, you can reverse those or have a straight chop. In those choppy moments, how does your strategy work? And I say strategy, I'm talking about betting patterns, not so much regression, moving shit around. I'm talking about how do your bet levels work. We talk about losing a little bit when you lose, winning a lot when you win. There's all sorts of ways to approach that. So I want to give you some more examples today. Maybe next week I'll start rolling some of these things out in more longer fashion so you get a sense, a better visual sense of rhythm. But let's talk about a few things, all right? I'm going to run down to the table here, I think, and maybe we'll get to see. I don't know. Let's see. If I do this, does it's not really showing up, is it? You can't really see that's a bummer. I wish you could see had the words up on screen, but you can't see them. It's a bum. All right, let's move this stuff out the way here. And I see that Jen's out there. Yeah, good morning. You bought your tickets. We'll talk about it in Q&A, Jen. Maybe save some of your trip reports for Q&A. I'm going to call out some stuff because Big AZ gave me some statistics about what happened over the weekend. But here we go. Let's look at one thing from yesterday that I really want to make sure that I cover well. I'm going to get some money out here. I was talking to Ken after the show, and I talked about regression up and pull as a thing, right? We talked about the RUP plan, which I like the regressions, right? You know me, I like a regression. However, regressions can put you behind a good roll. And the exact example I gave was this, right? If a regular, and we're going to use the pass line, but just because it's the pass line, you can look at this in other games. This could be a bet on player or banker, a bet on red or black and roulette, a blackjack hand. Doesn't matter. We're going to look at 6 consecutive wins that pay 1-to-1. So I'm not going to do any kind of up here betting or any kind of crazy roulette stuff. We're just going to do 50-50 bets just to kind of give a nice simple example of what this could look like. All right. So anyway, I did regression up and pull like this. We did $25 bet. I paid it in reds and then I regressed down. So I took my original bet, I took a little bit of profit, and then I regressed down to a 2 unit or 1. Let's say our unit is 1, right? Probably a better example would be if the bet size was 30. And when I won $30, like this, we win $30, then you come down to a 1 unit bet. So go from 3 units to 1 unit. To me, that's the best way to play an RUP and a regression up and pull is to bug down by 2 units, because then your next win at 10 becomes a nice easy up and pull, right? Actually, you could do it like this too. You could say for your $30, let's do another example here, because again, I think it's good to see the ways. 30 pays 30. You could take your win, go down to a 2 unit bet, lock up 1 unit. Now you have 2 $10 units down here. Okay. When those 2 win on the second one, you can go up to a 3rd unit, pull another unit. When the 3 units wins and it wins, let's say $30, again, you would go up to 40 and pull 2. So if you're going up a unit every time, that's a good way to think about the RUP. Now, in practice, to stay at the quarter level, like I was showing you before, and here's the example. If we took a 1 unit bet, quarter bet, and we won 6 times in a row, but same betted it, obviously you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units in wins. We'll put those over here. If you did a regression up and pull, the way that I would probably recommend you go, but again, other people might have a different view of this, I would probably do it at 3 units. I go to 3, and the reason why is this. I think a 3 unit starting point for a regression up and pull type of play is this. It pays 3. So when you regress, and you have your 4 units back, right? You have your initial 3 back, right? And this guy over here has a net profit of 5 because he has this 1 unit that he started with. His net profit is 5, not 6. Okay. Here you're got your 1 unit back, and you have a 1 unit in profit, and you're playing with 2. Playing with 2 is important because when you get your win, you can go up and pull profit. You follow? When 3 units wins, you can go up a unit and pull profit every single time. Now let's play this out over 6 rolls or 6 wins and see how it really works. There's your 3 unit pass line bet. I'm going to get some more greens. I need more greens. Now again, the risk here is 3, not 1. This guy only ever risked 1. He's risking 3 at the outset. He needs a 1 win to kind of start it off. And there's your 3, right? So you regress by 1. He locks up his initial, has a profit. That is roll, by the way. That's roll 1, or win number 1. On win number 2, again, 2 wins 2. You go up and pull. On win number 3, you win 3. You go up and pull. On win number 4, you win 4. You go up 1, and now you're pulling 3. On win 5, you have 5 out here. You're going to win 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm out of that color. 5. Up 1, pull 4. On the last win, you've got 6 out there. So you're going to win 6, up by 1, pull the 5. So a regression up and pull that starts high and gives you the ability to keep on pressing and pulling at the same time, 1 unit at a time. 100, 200, 300, 400. 400 in profit. Now you're going to lose the 6 on the 7th roll, obviously, right? But you have 400 in profit plus your money back. A little bit better than 150. What's the difference there? And this goes back to the bridge concept. I'm going to go back to the very, very first slide here. So give me a second to do this. Go back to the very first slide. Your risk profile. What is your appetite or aversion to risk? To pull that move off, to win $400, to win 16 units versus winning 5 units. That's the difference there. The same bettor wins 5 units. The regression up and pull guy that started out with a 3 unit bet won 16. However, if your risk tolerance does not allow you to put 3 bets out there, 3 units at first, you cannot play that way. If your bankroll doesn't support you doing that, you cannot play that way. That's going to take 3 units 10 times around the table, that's 30 units. At a quarter, that's $450. If you don't have that kind of money to take that kind of shot at it on a Bach table or on a roulette table, you can't play that way, right? This is where the bridge becomes important. That looked really cool, right? That looked awesome. Let me go back over to here. John, come on, desktop. Where you at? Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Sorry about that. That looked very cool and easy, right? I won 16 units on a 6 in a row deal. I've showed you before how I can win 15 units by doing the parlay, by doing the 1-3-2-4. The 1-3-2-4 has a 2-unit risk, right? Remember, on hit number 1, you win 1 and you have to press by 1 to get there. On hit number 2, when you win 3 and you take 1 back and you're down to 2, you have your original 2 units back in your rack, 2-unit in profit. The 1-3-2-4 has a 2-unit risk, not a 3-unit risk, not a 1-unit risk. It's a middle range, right? You want to be aggressive, have the bankroll to do it, go regression up and pull from 3 units down to 2. If you're middle if you're midland on the risk profile, a 1-3-2-4 is cool. It risks 2 after the first hit. You get that back, you're playing, and you got profit, which is freaking-tastic. We love that, right? Then you get into let's win 2, and we'll stack it up, right? 1-3, we do 1-3, 2, and then we go to 4, and the 4 wins, and you're off to the races here. You got all this, whatever that is, 11 units in profit when it's all said and done. A little bit less reward, a little bit less risk, right? The lower the risk, obviously, the lower the reward's going to be. So there's a couple of ways to look at regressions at the green level. If it's a regression at the red level, you start green and you come down, I think, in 1/3 increments. So you go from 30 to 20, and then 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and blah, blah, blah. That's how it works out. That's a way of looking at it. Now, that was really nice in terms of how does it handle the wins, right? Let's look at losses. How's it work in a chop? Okay. In a chop, that would get destroyed because you never get the collections, right? If you're going to do a regression up and pull, right, and you lose the first one and it goes away, and you go again into the second one and you lose a second one, now you're down 6 units, and then you finally catch a win. Okay, fine. You win 3, you come down to 2. Well, there's your 3 units that you started that round with. You're up by 1 for that round, but you're down 6 total. So now you're looking at chasing 5 units. You need extra wins to pick that mess up, right? This becomes a problem when you've lost twice in a row. If you're doing a same bet or a 1-3-2-4 type of system, and again, we start with 1 and we lose it, that sucks. We start with 1 and we lose it, that also sucks. Now, on the third run, we start with 1, it wins, and you add 1, that's the 3. When you come back on the second, guess what? You've got your money back from this round, the money back that you lost, and now you're back even playing with 2. So 1-3-2-4 does better in a lose-lose-win situation than the regression up and pull does. If you're same betting it and you lose, and then you win 1, all you are is covering half of your losses. So you can see that they each have their own profile. How much are you going to put out there to risk? What's the potential reward? And how does it handle that multiple loss situation followed by a win? So those are things that I think you need to consider as you're practicing your. And again, I'm not advocating for one over the other. They all have their pros and cons, right? Obviously, the reward at the end of a nice long run is the pro. Now, let's look at one more of these things because I want to make sure that we do justice to a couple of other ways of playing. I'm going to show you 2 ladders, okay? We're going to show you a ladder from 1 unit. Okay, and again, I'll just put it down here on the pass line. A ladder from 1 unit. Let's pretend that we get, let's just say 4 losses in a row. What would happen if you were laddering and you lost 4 times and then you caught the run? Okay, so you lose 1, that blows. You lose 2, then you ladder up to 3 and you lose the 3. Then you ladder up to 4 and you lose the 4. Now we go to level 5. 3, 4, 5. Now let's first look at the bankroll requirement. To get to a 5-level ladder at the green chip level on a 50-50 bet, Bach, blackjack, evens, or whatever in roulette, you need 100, 250, right? $325 to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 units to get there. These are black chips. It's $1,500. Do the math on that before you start. 4 levels, right? If you happen to need a 5th level, now you're at 6 units out here. You got to add another, right? Now you're a little high. Anyway, let's pretend that this situation happens and we lose and we've lost 4 in a row. What does it take to get back? Waylon talks a lot about the ladder strategies, right? What does it take to get back? There's your 1, 2, 3, and your 4 unit losses. Okay. What does recovery look like in this situation? Let's say we lost 4 and we win 2. Let's just take that simple example, right? Kind of an okay chop, right? You lose your ass, get a couple back. What does getting a couple of back look like? Well, if we win, I'm going to pay myself out of here. We win a 5 unit bet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unit bet. We win that. That's fantastic, right? So it covers up some of the losses, and we can regress back down by a unit and come down to a 4 unit win. Okay? You win 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 unit win, and you come back down to a 3 unit win. At 3, when you win it, we'll actually pay 2 out of the bank and 1 out of our losses, and now we're back to square again. There's the 1 we lost, the 2 we lost, the 3 we lost, the 4 that we lost. There's the 5 that we had to put out there to cover the last one. That's all the money we lost and had to put back in our rack with a 2 unit profit. Okay? It doesn't take a lot to come back, right? It takes a little bit of a run to get there, right? 4 losses in a row, 3 losses coming back before you get to even again. That's a tough way to play, though. You need a lot of money to get there. However, what does it do with 6 in a row? You start from here and you win 6 in a row. What happens? Well, you win 6 units, right? The risk profile here is low, right? At first, potentially high if you have a problem. But if you win 6 in a row and you're starting at the base and you're not progressing your bets, you're same betting, your potential for win is 6. Yikes, right? I'll submit to you this. What if you started your ladder at level 4? Start it kind of in the middle. And let's say, again, this will be a bigger bankroll requirement, but let's first look at the win situation. What if we win 6 in a row, right? What if you win 6 in a row and you started at level 4? Well, your first win is 4. Ladder down on the win. Your next win is 3. Cool. Ladder down on the win. Your next win is 2. Awesome. Ladder down. That gives you 3 wins to ladder down with instead of same betting. The profit potential is 4, 8, 12 units versus 5 units or 4 units in the same 4 wins versus $100 versus $300 if you started the ladder in the middle. Now, starting the ladder in the middle presents a problem when you lose 4 in a row because 4 becomes 5, right? And 5 becomes 6. And 6 becomes 7. So when you lose 4 in a row, starting your ladder in the middle, you're in a bad case, right? You got 7 and 6 is 13, and 5 is 18, 22 units. That's 250, I think, right? Is that what that is, right? Or no, 22 times, whatever. It's 450. Sorry, 450. In greens. $2,200 in blacks. Can this recover? If you started in the middle, how does recovery play out? Let's play it out. Let's play the recovery game. So you'd be out there at 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. Okay. Again, we'll pay them out of our losses. You go to 7. There's your 6 and 1. That's your 7 unit to come back. You come down by a unit. That's hit number 1. Now we're at 6 units. We'd win 5, 6 on the second one. On the third one, you're out there for 6. I think this is where we're going to get even. I lost my lammers. Where'd the lammers go? Did I drop on the floor or something? Oh, they're right here in front of me. Jeez, John. On the third one, you're going to win 6. come down, and now you're back out here at 5. When you win the 5th, on the 4th one, the 4th win, you're back, right? 3 wins, you're basically home. If you brought this back, right, you'd be actually out of the hole. You can come back with your 2 and show a little profit. It only takes 3 to come back. Go up by 4, 3 to come back if you started in the middle, and now you can go back and play again at 4 and start the process over again. So I think laddering from the middle, although it is a higher risk, right? You could go down 4 or 5 in a row and be in a world of hurt. If you catch a run early, you're so much better off than laddering from a 0. Laddering from 4 versus laddering from 0 gives you the ability to show massive profits as you pull and go down the ladder on earlier wins than same betting down here. So I'm going to roll this out next week. Maybe even tomorrow. I'm going to roll out the ladder that starts at 4 versus the ladder that starts at 1 side by side. We're going to look at those two things together. I'm also going to run a couple of different RUP variations in tandem. I'll do them on the same days, obviously, so you can get some sense of rhythm. And I want you to really see how your risk and how you view and experience risk and how you want to experience risk plays along with this and how much bankroll you really need to survive in some of these things. I think that we all run into the same problem where we come back to the face view here. We all, I think, have this like love affair with, oh, I can do it, or that looked really good and let's make it happen. But I think you can't really embrace it until you see it, like we did with the month-long, win a unit and stop kind of a thing. These things have to be seen, and you really got to feel like, okay, if I'm going to do the 4-unit starting at level 4 ladder, I can't do it at green. I can do it at red. I'll find a $10 table and start at $40 and go 40, 30, 20, 10 versus going 175, right? You can level things down to meet your bankroll, but it's about how do you view that? Do you want to burn 4 units, potentially 5 units, 6 units, 7 units in a row? Can your bankroll withstand it? That's why I think ladders are interesting and cool, but they aren't for everybody. Regression up and pull is not for everybody. If you're not willing to go super high to start it, you're going to have an issue coming back through it, right? If you can do that, then fantastic, because you can be ahead of the curve on a regression up and pull versus being behind the curve. If you start at a quarter and go to 10, while everybody else is at a quarter, you're going to be behind. If you're starting at 75 and coming down to a quarter, now you're in with the group and you've started out with a level up and going ahead. So, all right, let me run through some questions here and to see what's out there in the world. Only one question. Wow, Dice Dr. Dan. On the 1, 3, 2, 4, have I started at 3 units and played the 1, 3, 2, 4 and I win? But so, let's see. You're saying if I started at 3 units with the 1, 3, 2, 4, but down 1 as I lose. That's an interesting way to reverse ladder it. I'm gonna let's look at that real quick. Let me go down here to the desktop. You're saying so. The typical 1, 3, 2, 4 looks like this, right? You go 1. Let's put your the bank here and your bankroll here. Okay, this is your bankroll. The typical 1, 3, 2, 4. You win 1. You stack 1. You win 3. That's 1. On the 3-unit win, you come back, right? You have your 2 units that you started with. You have 2 units in profit, which means you can try it again. And now you're here. You win your 2. That's fantastic. It's a stack. You win your 4. Bob's your uncle, and you've got 100, 250, or a 10-unit profit, which is awesome, right? That's the 1, 3, 2, 4. Dan is saying this. Let's start instead of there. Let's start it at 3. Right? Again, the same idea. So your 1 is actually 3. So your 1 unit is, I actually need 6 units. This is a big bankroll build. Big bankroll. You need 6 units, 150, right? But check it out. 1, if you win 1 and you add the 1, that's 3. When that 1 wins, right, you're going to come down to, I got to get this right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You come down to 2. And there's that. Is your profit. Now your 2 wins again. You win 6. There's your 4, and you have 3, 6, 9, 12 units coming, which is more greens than I have. 3, 6, 9, 12, right? So that's that, right? You fantastic. You started out with a 3, 6 unit play to start with. Profited all this mess over here. Whatever this is a lot, right? You've got 4, 4, 4, 4. That's not a bad play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, $750. That's not bad. But your next one, because you have enough money to do it now, your initial money was here. Your initial money can now be this. So instead of going 3, go 2. Reduce down your first one to a 2 unit. So when it works, go down to take your profits, your initial money that you were going to risk anyway, go down to a 2 unit. And then again, 2 wins 2, add 2. That's your 3. 3 wins 2, 4, 6. Back down to 2. And now you're laddering it from. I love that idea, Dan. I love starting a little higher and coming back down. However, if the 1, 3, 2, 4 works, even at level 1, you might want to get the hell out of it. A 10 unit win is nothing to sneeze at. You know what I'm saying? A 10 unit win is pretty damn good. Although, if you lost and you laddered up to that level, maybe that could work. I don't know. Seems like that's an interesting way to look at it. I like the question. Yeah, 150 risk for 1 or 3, get it done and walk, right? Even, by the way, let's go back one more time. Even if you only get the 3, check it out. 1 pays 1, you add 3. When that wins, 3, 6, 9. Remember, you started out with 2 stacks. You've got 4 stacks over here, right? That right there might be enough to boogie, right? Remember, the 1, 3, 2, 4 earns you 2 stacks of where you started. That's actually 3, 6, 9, 12. That's not bad. That's $300, right? That's not a bad way to just boogie. A 1, 3 from level 3 is great. You might want to go a 1, 3, a 1, 3, and a 1, 3 from 3, 2, and 1. That's a way to progression bet this thing too, if you're a little bit less risk averse. I like that. I like it, Dan. Very good idea. Very good idea. I think that's pretty cool. To level it, come on, get the camera right. There we go. To start at 3, go to 2, go to 1 is cool. And again, I think at the 3, taking a 1, 3 at level 3, a 1, 3 at level 2, and then a 1, 3, 2, 4 at level 1. That might be the secret sauce right there, dude. I love it. I love it. How about any direct PC questions for me? And then I'll just run through chat real quick, see if there's anything else to talk here. No PCs. And I don't see anything else that's out there other than VDT saying losing the big one out the gate makes recovery more difficult for sure, unless you're laddering or unless you catch it. Plays like the 1, 3, 2, 4 or the parlays, those things really demand a run, right? They live in the world where this is a requirement. You need to get the 1 to 6 losses. You need that to make it work, right? As a recovery plan. Most systems recovery plan on the right side that we see is, well, wait for the monster. Play it 10 times, lose 9 times, win on the 10th one, and that's your recovery plan. That's not a recovery plan. That's a Hail Mary. These things here, because they catch a very specific circumstance, recover on their own accord, right? So anyway, there it is. Gary bought the belts. Thank you, sir. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Bigger hands and less hands might be the way to do it. I'm telling you, that's the way. There's 2 ways to get it done, in my view. Bet super small and progressively, aggressively bet the run, the streak when it happens. Or bet really big and get out super fast. We talked about, the person who bets $1,000 on red has a better chance of winning $1,000 than the person who bets $10 on red and has $1 million in the bank. You could have $1 million backing you, bet $10 on red, and you'll never win $1,000 because you got to win 100 before you lose 100, right? You'll never get there. The bigger bets, although the risk is way bigger, it's for such a short period of time, your probabilities go way up. And that's why I think some of these things work as well as they do. So, all right, I got to get out. It is work time. I do want to leave you with this though. A couple things. One is, Table time. Nope, we're not doing table time. We're doing, oh no, lost my stream deck. That's weird. It just turned itself off, which is awesome. I do want to call out, maybe tomorrow we can talk more about it, but I know the big AZ thing just finished up, and Jen was out there. AZ sent me a picture where he gives you a gold chip or a banana chip if you have a 25 roller. So he gave me a picture of Justice Jen, with her 25 roller, which was awesome. I congratulated her on it. She wrote back and said she had 3 of them. And we'd like to say that she broke the big AZ curse. I've been down at his meetups 3 times, gotten shelled every single time. I think the problem is there's too many good shooters, and we all just go too heavy on them, right? And she was very conservative and very disciplined, and walked away a winner finally, and also showed out by having 3 great hands. So congratulations, Jen, and congrats to Big AZ on what sounds like an extremely awesome meetup. I may have him on to talk about the meetup thing, because the meetups are interesting, right? We do the Craps for the Cure, and it's kind of a meetup, but we're really there to work. We do play afterwards, but it's not the same. AZ's meetups are like full time, all day kind of thing. I want to ask him some questions about it, how he runs it and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's yeah. Anyway, that for a different day we'll do that. Tom Marco, 25 or 1. You know what? You're saying this. I was actually going to. You want to have a little preview of something? I'll leave you with this. I can't get to my why the stream deck stopped. But anyway, that way I can't get to things. So let me go to the table. Can I get to the table view? How do I get to the table view? I can't change the camera without the thing. Hold on a second. Let me get here. How do I get my table to show? That? Okay, that's it. So Royce, good point. John Patrick would do a 2 unit, right? Take the win, come down to 1, right? So you've got your 2 units back, a unit in profit, and then you're here, right? And then he would go here. You take 1, you stack the 1, so you're missing out on a collection. Then you get 2, and then you start the process, right? The weakness of that is that second hit, right? You start with 2, you win 2, you regress to 1. So there's your 2 back, there's your 1 in profit. The second hit is the problem, because you get 1 unit, you've got to stack it and not pull it back. So you're behind on a collection. Then you can start the real process. By starting at 3, your first win, you can come down and get right into an up and a pull on roll 2. I like a 3 better than a 2 as a starting point. Anyway, the 1, 3, 2, 4 on the 4 and 10 for Tom Marco. I love this idea, and I was going to do this actually in a week or so. I was going to introduce this as if you were actually up, like this would be a home run play if you were already ahead. If you had gotten out of the hand or whatever you were doing and you were already up, right? A 1, 3, 2, 4 on every single number is interesting. It's going to take 320 to do this, because potentially you got to add to every single one. But let's take the 9, for example. The 9 pays $35, right? If you were to add 1 from your rack, keep the 10, go to 75. That's a 3 unit bet. You have a little bit of your initial money back, right? That's going to pay 105. Come back down to a 2 unit bet. Now you've got, your original quarter back in the rack, the quarter that you added back in the rack, and you've got basically $90 in profit on that second hit of the 9. Now 50 pays 70. There's your 2 unit bet. You can actually keep the reds for good measure for your drinks. That pays 140. The 4 unit bet pays 1. We'll do 150 for 10, right? And the 1, 3, 2, 4 on the 9 or the 5 nets you 100, 200, and $50, right? You play a 1, 3, 2, 4 on every single number. That might be the new Philly special, right? Hyper aggressive way to play, and it works on every single one of them, right? The nice thing about it is that you can do the 4 and 10 as a group. So let's say you hit the 10, right? You put the 4 and 10 both to 3. You got to add $50 to it. There's your 1-3. If either of them hits for 150, they can both come down to 2. You've got your initial 4 and 10, the press that you did, and $100 in profit. And on here, again, it wins here. Press them both. Either one of them wins 100, and on the what would be the 4 hit, you're out here. 1, 2, 3, $450 in profit. Right? The 1, 3, 2, 4. These two played as a pair. These two played straight up. Those two played straight up. Might be one of the best ways to capitalize on a mid roll, right? Like a 12 to 15 roller. That to me is a very interesting way to hammer it. And then you stay at level 2 and you go on forever. Super interesting way to approach it. Highly, highly aggressive because you're not collecting. You're going to have to add. You're going to start with 160. You have to add a quarter to every bet as they come out. However to that is if you're already ahead, you're doing something like that. You could be way ahead. I love the idea of a 1, 3, 2, 4 in the box on a craps table. I really, really do. I like it on the dozens in roulette. A 1, 3, 2, 4 on both dozens is a fantastic way to play, right? You're going to get your 1 on 2 different dozens, right? You lose 1 and 1 wins 2, right? So you go back. Now you have to add 3 units to get back into it. But at the 3 level, you're going to win these 2 and bring this one back. Guess what? You're out. When they both go down to 2, you've got 5 units, and 3 of those units were your add. You've got 2 units in profit already. It's a great way to do the dozens. It works everywhere. The pattern works everywhere. I like 1, 3, 2, 4 better than 1, 3 or better than a straight parlay because that second hit you're locking up something. You're locking up a full round. Anyway, we got to get running. Gary says meetups might be fun, but how can you win? It's hard. This is where we say the horseman, right? This is where and again, you can't be ashamed of playing dark side in a group. That's the thing that I'm sure Jen will talk about when we have her on at some point. You can't be ashamed of playing dark side in a group. You just have to. I mean, not everybody's going to be as good as George from CY is. He's not shooting 25 every single time, right? As good as I am, I PSO sometimes, right? You can't do it. So you just play the horseman, or you play the pass line parlay. Do a $25 pass line, go for the 1, 3, 2, 4 all the way around the table until it's your turn to throw. And if somebody hits the 1, 3, 2, 4 for you, fantastic. Go open the box and have some fun. Like that's how you do a meetup. You cannot do a meetup playing across on every single shooter. You'll go bankrupt. That's where I watch people just throw money out there. You know what I mean? You play meetups conservatively. If you catch a run, you might miss out on a roll, but that run that you catch lets you fund the other stuff. That's exactly how you do it. So, all right, I'm out. Y'all have a great day. I will see you later. I see your note here, Dan. I'm going to actually bookmark that for myself, and then I'll give it a shot tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow will be 1, 3, 2, 4 day. We'll just try it with some different levels. All right, have a good one. Happy hump day. See you Thursday. Oh, one more thing. I can't really get to the next screen. I'll leave you with our thought of the week here. Thought of the week is 6 months from now, you'll either be having 6 months of progress or 6 months of excuses, right? I would choose progress. I may sit here every day, by the way, and fail. And you probably say, oh God, John's a failure. John's an asshole. A lot of guys think I'm an idiot for the way that I do things on these shows, which is fine, right? There are days I get the math right, days I get the math wrong, but there's not a day where I don't try to get it right. So I will not have 6 months of excuses. I'll have 6 months of progress where at some point the 1, 3, 2, 4 or the pass line parlay or the whatever you want to call it, as we keep working through these things, they will become better and better and better. And you may find that there's the way that hits you and go, that's what I've been waiting for. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I've been waiting for a moment. Maybe the horseman played come bets and the line as 2 separate progressions. We may run into something like that. We'll see. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all. God bless everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow.